Okay, dear students, welcome to this class. So already in last classes, so we had been regarding about some methods of separation in this chapter, separation of substances. So in a first category, that means separation of solids from solids. Understand? Second category is the separation of insoluble substances from liquids. Third category is the separation of soluble substances from liquids. What is the first category is the separation of solid substances from solids. So in that first category, already we have learned some methods of separation like hand picking, threshing and winnowing. Yes sir, hand picking, threshing and winnowing. So these methods comes in the first category. That means separation of solid substances from solids. Already I clearly explained in the last class about that methods. Let's come students, in this class we will go to learn the separation methods belongs to second category. That means separation of insoluble substances. Insoluble substances from liquids. Understand? Then third category is the separation of soluble substances from liquids. First we have to learn the second category. In this category, two methods came, which are those sedimentation and decantation. Sedimentation and decantation. And second method is the filtration. These two methods come under second category, which is that separation of insoluble. Insoluble means what? They cannot soluble in a liquids. They can't soluble in a liquids. Insoluble substances from liquids. Here in this method, in this category, two methods came, two separation methods came. One is sedimentation and decantation. Second one is filtration. Let's see students, in which situation we can use these two methods. Okay, see, first one is the sedimentation and decantation. So normally this method is used to separate the mixtures from suspension. What it is? Suspension. Suspension is nothing but when you dissolve any substance in a water or any liquid. Understand? We say water is the universal solvent. It came in a last part. Because water can dissolve even solid substances, even liquid substances, even other liquids in it. Hence we say what? Water is an universal solvent. So take a beaker. You can try it in your home. If you don't have beaker in your home, take any vessel. Fill it with the water. Fill it with water. Understand? Take a vessel and fill it completely with the water. And take some amount of sand. Take some amount of sand. Understand? Slowly pour that sand into a beaker and stir it well. What you get? Mixture of sand and water. Mixture of sand and water. What will you get? Mixture of sand and water. So when you are stirring the sand in a water, it appears to be dissolved in water. At first, it appears to be dissolved in water. But after keeping it for some times, understand? So these soil particles, sand particles, they slowly started to settle down at the bottom. They slowly started to settle down at the bottom of this beaker. Understand? Now you want to get what? Water and sand particles separately. Then how can you separate the sand from water, sir? So the mixture of the sand and water, we call it the suspension. The mixture of sand and water, we call what it is? Suspension. It is called suspension. Then how can you separate the sand and water from this mixture, sir? Best method is the sedimentation and decantation. Understand? So when you are adding the sands to the water, At first it appears to be dissolved in water, but kept it for undisturbed for 10 to 15 minutes. Just observe all sand particles, they are starting to settle down at the bottom. They are all starting to settle down at the bottom. Why sir? Sand particles are very heavier. Sand particles are very heavier and they comes down and settle at the bottom. They comes down and settle at the bottom. It's because of gravity. It's because of gravity. All sand particles comes down and settle at the bottom of this vessel or beaker. So what we see the in the vessel at the bottom, all sand particles are settled down at the bottom of this beaker or vessel. So this is called what? Sediment. This is what called what? Sediment. And this process is called sedimentation. This process is called sedimentation. Just kept that beaker or vessel undisturbed for some time, up to 20 to 20 minutes. All sand particles are comes down and settle at the bottom. So that we call it as a sediment. And this process is called sedimentation. In upper part, you can see the clear water. At upper part in a vessel or beaker, you can see the clear water. Understand? Then how can we separate this water and soil, sir? By using the method decantation. By using the method decantation. Understand? Take another empty vessel. Take another empty vessel. Already you know all sand particles are settled down at the bottom. We call it as a sediment. Sediment is at the bottom of the vessel. At upper part you can see the clear water. And take this beaker and handle it for undisturbedly. Handle that beaker undisturbedly and slowly pour this water. Slowly pour this clear water in another vessel. And maintain the sediment is undisturbed. Maintain the sediment is undisturbed. Slowly pour. This is the process. This is a process of pouring clear water from the suspension to the another vessel. Sediment is undisturbed. Maintaining sediment is undisturbed. This process we call it is decantation. This process we call it is decantation. I think normally your mother, you might see this process commonly in your kitchen room. When your mother going to make cook rice, understand? First what they make, they first washing your rices with the water. Understand? After separating the rice from water, what they make? They decant that water. Slowly pour that water. Understand? So that method we call it is decantation. ಬಸಿಯುವಿಕೆ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರಲ್ಲ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂತಾರೆ ಬಸಿಯುವಿಕೆ. ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿರ್ತೀರಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ತಾಯಿಯಂದ್ರು ಅನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅಕ್ಕಿಯನ್ನು ತೊಳಿತಾರೆ. ಅಕ್ಕಿಯನ್ನು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ತೊಳಿತಾರೆ ನೀರಲ್ಲಿ. ಆ ನೀರನ್ನು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಸ್ಲೋ ಆಗಿ ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಮುಚ್ಚಳವನ್ನು ಮುಚ್ಚಿ ಅಕ್ಕಿ ಚೆಲ್ಲದ ಹಾಗೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಅಕ್ಕಿಯನ್ನು ತಡೆ ಹಿಡಿದು ನೀರನ್ನು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ತೆಗಿತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಂತಾರೆ ಬಸಿಯುವಿಕೆ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಇನ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಡಿಕ್ಯಾಂಟೇಷನ್ ಮೆಥಡ್. In English we call it is decantation method. It is the process of pouring the clear water from suspension to the another vessel or beaker. That process is called decantation. Understand? So in this case, to separate the insoluble, because sand is insoluble in water, kept in mind, soil is a sand particles are insoluble in water. So to separate that insoluble sand particle from this water, you can use this method, sedimentation and decantation method. Very easy method is there. So follow it. Try to make this activity in your home. Let's go to the second method is there. What is that? Separation of insoluble substance from liquid. Second method is the filtration. Filtration. So normally in your homes, when your mother made a tea, understand? They use some strainers to separate the tea powder from tea. They use some strainers. Understand? So strainer is used. That process we call it also filtration method. They also filters the tea from the tea powder. In that process they use what? Strainers. They use some strainers. Understand? But in our science laboratory, we use a specific filter paper. We use specific filter paper. By using this filter paper, we can separate insoluble solid substances from mixture in a laboratory. We use what? Filter paper. But in case of your homes, understand? So if our drinking water is a muddy, If your drinking water is a muddy, muddy means if it contains soil particles, then how can you filter that water? Normally in your homes, what we use? You use a thin cotton cloth. What do you use? Thin cotton cloth. So you use that thin cotton cloth as a filter paper. So that thin cotton cloth that separates a fine sand particles, a fine insoluble sand particles from that water. Then at the bottom you get a clear water, clean water. So that thin cotton cloth it acts as a filter paper. But a filter paper is not commonly used in your homes. Hence what we use? Thin cotton cloth to filter that water. So that filters, that separates the fine insoluble sand particles from that water. So what we use in our homes, that method is also called filtration method. Understand, students? So these two methods come under the second category, that is separation of insoluble substances from liquids. Understand? Let's come. Third main category is there, separation of solid substances from liquids. Separation of solid substances from mixture. Understand? Here in this category two methods came. One is evaporation, second one is distillation. Understand? So first we learn about evaporation. See, the first one evaporation is there. After that we go to distillation. See, evaporation is method. It is commonly used to separate solid substances from liquids. Best example is the seawater. What it is? Seawater. Understand? Seawater contains salt. Normally we use a common salt in our kitchen. Yes or no? Common salt is nothing but what is sodium chloride. So that is used to enhance the taste of food. That is used to enhance the taste of food. Understand? Without using this salt, the food does not give any taste. Yes or no? So this salt that enhances the taste of food. Yes. So this salt is obtained from seawater. Remember what we use a common salt in our homes, that is obtained from seawater. How? By the process evaporation. By the process evaporation. Remember, salt, common salt, what we use in our kitchen room, that common salt is obtained from seawater by the process evaporation. ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಬಾಷ್ಪೀಭವನ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ, ಆವಿ ಆಗುವಿಕೆ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಹೇಗೆ ಸರ್? ಓಕೆ, ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಸಿ. ಸೀ ವಾಟರ್, ದ ಕಾಮನ್ ಸಾಲ್ಟ್ ಈಸ್ obtained from the sea water by the process evaporation. How? Let's see, students. Take a China dish. What is China dish? I think you might see the China dishes in your home. That is mainly made up of clay. That is mainly made up of clay. Understand? Take the sea water in a China dish. Take a sea water in a China dish. Put it on a tripod stand. And we need what? Spirit lamp. We need spirit lamp. Either you can say use Bunsen burner. So heat it with any source. But in our chemistry laboratory we commonly use a spirit lamp or Bunsen burner. Understand? Take a China dish and take sea water in that China dish and put it in a tripod stand, and to heat what we need? Spirit lamp. So with the help of the spirit lamp, try to heat this solution. Try to heat this solution. What do you take solution in your China dish? Sea water. Start to heat that water. So start to heat that water until it evaporates. Until it evaporates. Remember what we use. Why we use this evaporation, sir? To obtain salt from sea water. Hence we are taking sea water in a China dish. Here in a China dish, sea water is there. You are going to heat water with the help of spirit lamp. So when you are going to start a heat this sea water with the help of spirit lamp, so heat that water until it evaporates. Understand? So when water completely evaporates, So what remains in a China dish? Observe. Observe when? When you can observe? Observe when water completely get evaporates and observe in the China dish, the small white crystals are remaining. Small white crystals are remaining. That is nothing but salt. That is nothing but salt. Salt can be easily dissolved in water. Hence, to separate soluble solids from liquids, we use this method, evaporation method. We use evaporation method, and remember, most important thing is that what we use a common salt in our home. This is called common salt. Its chemical name is sodium chloride, NaCl. That salt is obtained from a sea water by this process evaporation. Understand? So now go to visit the coastal areas of our state and our India. In those places, salt is obtained. Salt is prepared from that sea water by making a large buns. Understand? In that buns, they stores the water in them. Understand? The water gets evaporates naturally by the heat of the sun. The water gets evaporate naturally by the heat of the sun. When the water get completely evaporates, in that burns, what is obtained? Salt is remained. Understand? So after getting the salt from that evaporation method, so if it contain any minor impurities, sand impurities, so they wash that salt with the help of hydrochloric acid, and they completely wash out that impurities and they give a clear pure salt. So by using this evaporation method, common salt is prepared in a large quantities in a coastal areas. Understand? By using that evaporation method. Remember, evaporation method is used to obtain salt from sea water. Clear or not, students? Very good. So, another method is there in this category. What is that? Separation of soluble solid substances from liquids. I first explain what I explained. Evaporation method. Another method will come. That is that distillation method. So we will discuss that distillation method clearly in next classes. Okay. Thank you for watching this class. So in the next classes, we will discuss about our next method. Okay, dear students. So take down these notes in your HW. Okay.